I don't even know how to start this video now. I are I don't know how. So I have been dealing with a lot of anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and it all got worse after YouTube Shorts decided to throw at me Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about life after death and basically saying there's no life after death. Even now my heart is racing because of it. I feel absolutely terrible. I feel this feeling in my chest that's driving me crazy. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson basically laid it out. He said that there is nothing after you die. He says it just goes off. He says there was nothing before you lived, and there's nothing after you lived. You can't remember anything from before this life because there was nothing. I don't agree with that. I mean, I couldn't tell you how much that I've forgotten over the years. Memories I don't even have anymore. I don't remember everything from my childhood. Just key little moments, little blips of memories. There's nothing hardly there anymore. Eventually you forget things. All people do. There's there's just no way to remember everything as a kid. Or at least not for me. And I think the people who say that they remember everything from their childhood don't really remember everything. They don't remember everything. I can remember some things. But how could you, okay, if it was a past life, how are you going to remember all that from so long ago? How? Of course you'd forget it. I've forgotten so much in this life. I don't remember anything. I can't recall a lot of stuff. I can't remember every single day of my life. I can't remember every little thing I ever did as a kid. I can't remember every meal I ever had. I can't remember every single thing I've seen on television. Not all of it, only a few key things that I love. Why do you think nostalgia is such a hell of a drug? Because there's shit that you have trouble remembering, and sometimes it takes a jolt from watching something or playing something or listening to something or tasting something from long, long ago that helps jog some of your memory, but you're not going to remember all of it. How are you expected to remember a past life? How are you expected to remember anything before this life? Doesn't mean there wasn't anything. Just means we just don't remember anything. All right. So I will give you my theory in a moment as to what happens when we pass away. I'll give you my theory. I've got no way to prove the theory, but it's a theory. But I'll tell you my earliest memory. My earliest memory isn't even from this lifetime. My earliest memory is probably my last memory from when I lived before. And I know this is a weird subject. It's really weird to talk about, and I know it makes people uncomfortable, and I'm sorry. If this is the kind of thing that makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to watch. I'll put up a disclaimer. But so the earliest memory I had, I was in a very, I think the word is rustic. It was a very rustic home. It was a very old-fashioned home. It was one of those houses like you kind of see on TV sometimes. You get to an old house that's been there for years, like in a horror film or something like that, but much nicer looking. So my memory, the last thing I can remember, and it feels like an early memory. I was As a kid, I couldn't fathom what I was remembering, and I couldn't explain it to anybody. I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't because when you're a little kid, it's hard to word these things. But as you get older, if you can hold on to that memory, you're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna remember everything from being from out, throughout your life. But there's some things that's just hard to forget. For example, this is one of those things that's hard to forget. So I was really old. I had a cane. I had just come in from outside with I think it was a newspaper. I sat down, like the house was like the walls, you know, those houses where the walls will have one part of the wall be wallpaper, and then down and below it's like really fancy looking wood that's done out in like sections, square or rectangle sections along the wall. The banister has like the steps going up has like banisters because there's stairs. I go past some stairs. I sit down in a chair, an old chair, and the TV's on. The TV is weird looking. As a kid, I didn't know what that memory was. I didn't know it was a TV because you're a little kid. As you get older, oh, it was a TV. It was round. So this was a long time ago. As a kid, I didn't know what kind of TVs there ever was. When you're a little child, so having this memory when you're really young, it's like, where did this memory come from? So I sat down and opened the paper watching TV, and as I opened the paper, I think I died. I think I died. When I opened the paper, I believe I died. So then my other earliest memory is, I think, my conception. I think it was me being made because it's this weird memory where I'm two different things and I'm being forced to be one. Doesn't that sound like conception? You have the egg, you have the seed, you have the sperm, and it's penetrating and it becomes one, fertilizing. Both are living organisms. Well, this dream, this I thought was a dream, but it's more like, but it's a memory, is my conception. So that's weird. That's my second earliest, and it literally comes in this order: death, conception, and then as a child, another early memory was literally just being a little kid sitting on a floor, big old TV, and I believe I was at my grandpa's house. I believe I was just sitting on the floor, just a little kid, just looking at everything, walking around, crawling around and everything. I don't think everybody can remember that far back, and some people will tell me that I'm delusional or some shit. Are you sure? I don't know about that. So that was like my third earliest memory, and it was in that order. Those are the memories in the order. After that, it becomes scattered. I can't remember everything. I can remember finding out the day that my grandfather had passed away. My mom's dad passed away. I can remember that. Can't remember my grandmother, my mom's mom passing away. Can't remember her. I was in my 20s or 30s when my I think it was in my 20s. I think 20s, 30s when my grandmother passed away. My dad's mom, that grandmother. So I'm going to remember her clearly. It's always specific moments in your life that you remember the most. And that brings another point. My grandmother, if everything just is lights out when you're gone, everything just, if that's true, are you telling me that my grandmother's just gone? I'll never see her again in any capacity? Same thing with my dad. Are you telling me that I'm never going to see my dad again? Are you telling me that I'm never going to see my dad again? In any way, shape, or form? Is that what you're telling me, man? That's what it sounds like you're telling me. It sounds like you're telling me my dad is just gone. That's what you're telling me. And eventually, when my aunts pass away, everybody, my aunt Edna, not my aunt, not Aunt Edna, Aunt Sue. You telling me she's just gone? that what you're telling me? That I'll never see her again? I'll never see any of my relatives again? Ever? And when I die, everything just blinks off? How fucking heartless can you be? That's terrible. Of course, scientists don't know everything. Hell, I'm always reading all the time about how scientists once thought that such and such happens, but as it turns out, such and such actually happens, and that you can actually this and that, because science doesn't fucking know. That's my biggest takeaway. Science doesn't actually know. Scientists don't really know. Nobody really knows anything. I think it's better that we don't really know. I think it's better to just hope. It's better to just, when you pass away, it's better to just have something to look forward to. Unlike some people in the world, I don't want to stop existing. I don't want to. I want to keep existing. I want to keep existing, and I hope I keep existing. You know? I think a lot of people just want to keep existing somehow. So I should talk about my theory about what happens when you pass away. My theory is that, first off, humans or we have our brains are the most sophisticated computers on the planet, they say. Very sophisticated technology here. Organic technology, but technology nonetheless. It's organic technology. What if all our memories, everything about us, personality, everything, what if it's just dispersed from the body? The body can't contain it anymore, can't hold it anymore. So that information just gets released. I don't know if the afterlife is some magical thing. I really don't think it is. I don't think the afterlife is a magical, fluffy, cloud-filled world. You know, every depiction of heaven is usually just this weird cloudy place, and I'm like, nah. But I do think we keep going. I want to believe that we keep going. As I'm sure a lot of you out there do too. We exist in some capacity. You ever seen those movies, or I think even Futurama had this happen once. There was a being of pure energy. I think we're energy. I think we're energy held within this form. And once we pass away, uh, the form can no longer sustain the energy. The energy is released. That energy is who we are. It's not magical. I believe it's science, but science hasn't been able to explain it, hasn't been able to prove it. Doesn't mean anything though. Just because they can't prove anything or explain anything doesn't mean it's not real. I mean, we are advancing so far with technology. We're advancing radically in no time flat. I read about how somebody came up with a warp drive. I mean, let's look at the technology that sends the Starlink dishes around the planet. That's interesting technology. The ion thrusters. Ion thrusters. Could you imagine? That was once only seen in sci-fi. 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 I have to do the F sound with my lower teeth and my upper lips. Sci-fi. Sci-fi. So, we're starting to see all these things happen. I really don't think scientists know a damn thing. They don't know. Or maybe this is therapeutic for me to sit here and say that they don't know. I remember Boogie 2988 on Twitter would go on about how he loved the idea of just not existing anymore, just that eternal rest, no more torment, no more. He's had a hard life, but he's making excuses and he's not correcting things for himself. Welcome to the club. I'm not doing it either. and I need to. So, um, he liked the idea. He's comforted by the idea of just when he passes away, just being nothing anymore, just complete rest. I don't like that idea. I want to keep going. I want to remember as much as I can. I want to remember my mom. I love my mom so much. I love my brother so much. Both my brothers and my sister. I love my family. As dysfunctional and fucked up as we are, I love them and I never want to forget them. And I never want us to just not exist anymore. It doesn't make any sense to me. I could go on about the semantics of the universe, you know, and life, and explaining how, or trying to explain or think about or discuss things of our reality, you know. But I wanted to get this off my chest. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to feel some comfort again. I wanted to feel good again. I wanted to feel relaxed. I want the stress to stop. You know, it's funny, for a while I stopped feeling dizzy and lightheaded, and like something's wrong with me. I could, and it came back today. I haven't been feeling physically well today. I haven't been able to sleep worth a damn. And it's funny how 1 minute I want to do nothing but sleep, and then the next I can't sleep hardly at all. It sucks. Um, so yeah, I don't know what life is going to mean for a lot of people. What is the meaning of life? Everybody asks that question. I don't know. But I know we have to keep going. I know there has to be more. There has to be. It I don't think it's a magical, pretty, sparkly thing, but I do think it's something. We keep going. Everybody's like ghosts and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't know. But I hope people understand me and understand why I made this video. I know it's pretty deep. I know it's pretty, and there's probably more I wanted to talk about, but I'm just like, I'm running out of steam. I already did a couple of recordings and had to delete them. They were garbage. Kept getting interruptions. But yeah. So I guess that's the end of this video. Again, I know it's an uncomfortable subject, and if it was making you uncomfortable, I completely understand if you cut, you know, stop the video, you don't watch it. I'll put a disclaimer, but I had to talk about this. I needed to feel better. Anyhow, so comment, subscribe, like it if you like it. I really want to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and I need to start doing more videos. Maybe not videos like this, but I need to do more videos in general. Can't keep doing streams. That doesn't grab people. Anyhow, this has been the Goof, and I'm off. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.